على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're going to be working from chapter 11 on page 170, page 170 of the book, with the thinking methodology of the Muslim because of true Islam. How a Muslim thinks because of this, because of the religion. Sound thinking, meaning deliberation that is valid and permitted in the Sharia. Thinking which is permitted by the Sharia, not thinking that think what you want to think, but thinking which is permitted by the Sharia, is thinking that is grounded in knowledge, takes account of reality, considers consequences, adheres to the limits of the Sharia, and uses the revealed text as a scale by which all events, statements, and opinions are weighed. All events, all statements, and all opinions are weighed against the Sharia, against that law, and not against my imagination or anybody else's imagination, which is not this Sharia. A Muslim's thinking must be based upon knowledge. Such thinking has necessary boundaries, hudud, and regulating principles, dawabit, and it must remain connected to revelation. Thinking is connected to revelation. What's the revelation? And the Sunnah. Thinking is connected to that. It's grounded in that. What I think has proof, what I think in the book and the Sunnah. It's grounded in revelation, enlightened by it, governed by its clear, decisive text, rather than being driven by desires, driven by conjecture. What's conjecture?
Yes,
Speculate. Or conjecture. Take a look. To conjure something else is connected to what? Conjuring is connected to what? Yeah, and it's also connected to what? To conjure something, connected to what?
Magic.
That's for magic. To conjure is connected to magic. A spell. And there are things in our society that make spells, such as?
Media, TV.
Yeah, and in one direction connect to spells, which is?
Shaykh.
Music. Music takes direction to spells. So who's going to listen to music a lot is going to fall under the spell of the music. The magic of the music. It even says it sometimes. The magic in you, the magic in me, the magic we all can see, blah, 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 magic spell, magic spell. Sound Islamic thinking springs from faith. Allah is commanded, He commanded reflection, observation, and consideration, and He has linked such reflection to guidance and rectification. He commands that people reflect. This isn't something they can choose to do or not. They must reflect on what they see, so especially the creation. They can decide not to, or reflect on something else. He says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَةٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alteration of night and day are signs for people of understanding. Those who remember Allah while standing, while sitting, and laying on their sides, and who reflect upon the creation of the heavens and the earth. And the next verse, Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. My Lord, you didn't create this for falsehood. All of this was not created for falsehood. The Quran says, the Quran, do not reflect the Quran. Go to Dabur. It says, أَفَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى السَّمَاءِ فَوْقَهُمْ. Have they not looked at the sky above them? Thus reflection is an act of worship linked to faith, commanded by revelation, and rewarded by Allah. So where we look, Allah says, look where for your inspiration. Look. But today we're looking for what? Here we are. Our new reality. My appreciation comes from here. My information comes from here. It's all in the ground. And where's he pointing? To the ground. He said, reflect the heavens and the earth here. So see the change in people's attitudes, the change in their attention span. The modern world, Allah directs us to look at the heavens for reflection. Yet today, as much of humanity looks down into a screen, searching for information, correction, and affirmation. They like me. They like me. How many people like me? I got likes. Some people say this like thing actually has an effect upon the dopamine of the brain. Some people get off on being liked. They get off on their thumbs. Allah says, revelation is a standard by which statements, opinions, and ideas are weighed. Revelation is a standard by which statements, opinions, and ideas are weighed. They're not weighed from other people. They're weighed from the revelation. They're weighed from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, what his prophet has said. If I want to talk about human beings, for instance, if I want to say something about human beings, about how human beings, how they arrived to the earth, do I look at the archaeology, what they dug up out of the ground? Do I look at stones? Do I look in caves? No, where do I start? I start in the Quran. That's how human beings began. I start there. I don't start anywhere else. Because we know that who's revealing our revelation, revealing our existence is who? Now, who's revealing our revelation is who? Allah is revealing it. He's revealing the revelation, not that guy and that guy and what they found in the ground and the bones and this and that. No. And it began when Allah said to the angels, I'm placing in the earth a Khalifa. That's what we began, right there in his will. In his will, not our will. Not how smart we were or how spiritual we were, but when he said, I'm placing in the earth Khalifa. The scholars of Ahlul Sunnah have established that reflection is not valid unless it is based upon knowledge. Ignorance, on the other hand, leads to imbalance. It corrupts judgment, distorts thought, and produces harmful outcomes. Thus Allah says, say, are those who equal to those who do not know? They're not equals. When a Muslim seeks to understand reality, he must first return to the foundational principles of the religion. He must examine it through the light of revelation while avoiding desire, blind imitation, and haste in passing judgment. Today, people have styles, they're trends. Where does the trend come from? From other human beings. If you ask them why, they don't even know why. Why are we cutting part of our hair off and leaving part? It's called a kaza. And the Prophet forbade it. The Muslims do that. Forbade that for men. Why do some men walk around the hair like a stack of pancakes? Up like that. Why are you doing that? Well, I don't know. But why did you do it? You did something. So why are you wearing the beard? I must have said, where? Why you clipping mustache? He said, clip it. I can depend upon what he said, but I can't depend upon something. You can't tell me why you're doing it. For this reason, the law says many errors in thinking arise from rushing, relying on assumption, lacking understanding of new events, or viewing matters in a narrow way without considering the long-term results. For this reason, Allah says, do not follow that of which you have no knowledge. Examining reality is not sought for its own sake. Its purpose is to achieve the correct understanding that exists in applying the Sharia rulings to events as they occur. This can only be achieved by one who possesses firm principles, beneficial knowledge, and insight that enables him to distinguish truth from falsehood. We like the word psychology. We like that word psychology. We love that word. What's the word psychology come from?
Comes from psyche.
Psyche. Who is psyche?
What was that?
Who is psyche?
It's like, who is psyche?
Who-
I think it comes from Greek word, soul.
Who is he or she? Who is psyche? Strange question, huh? Not so strange. Psyche is a concept. Psyche is a goddess of the soul in the old Greek mythology. Life, soul, breath, human existence come from psyche. It's added E. We did it one day in class, didn't we? It's a goddess. So look up psychosomatic. I can't spell it. Look up psychosomatic. I'm serious. Look up on your phone, psychosomatic. You didn't bring your phone? Oh. I know you had your phone.
Is it
Psychosomatic. Psychocinema. Somatic. Maybe you said I'm pronouncing it wrong. That's possible. I could be pronouncing it wrong.
A physical symptom, pain, or illness is caused or made worse by a mental factor like stress, anxiety, or depression.
Is it real?
What was it something? It says psychomatic means
Psychosomatic. It's a psychosomatic.
That's one word. Say it one more time for me.
Psychosomatic.
A physical symptom, pain, or illness is caused or made worse by a mental factor like stress, anxiety, or depression. The word combines psyche, mind, and soma, body. Even though the root cause is emotional or mental, the physical pain and discomfort are completely real, not imaginary.
They say it's real or imaginary.
The effects are real, but not the origin of it.
The effects are real, but not the origin. So where is the origin? And we're not doctors, we're not psychiatrists, but that word. But people do that quite a bit. They hear of other people's illnesses and take them on. I must have that. I must have that. Well, wait, how's that supposed to look? Crazy. At one time, everybody was bipolar. Remember that? Everybody was bipolar. Never heard of bipolar before. Now everybody's bipolar because they heard what bipolar was. And maybe you get some money from being bipolar. So let's be bipolar. I ain't really. I got two sides. I got the manic side. Huh? ADHD. Yeah. And PTSD. All the alphabets. Human beings become a bunch of alphabets. Well, the alphabet folk, all them folk, we have all of them. Now the illnesses got alphabets too. Kids got certain alphabets and then adults got certain. And who pays the money? The pill man. You want to feel better? Eat this pill. You want to feel, if you're Muslim, you want to feel better? Do what? You also. Ada berzikr Allah the heart finds it, man. It finds tranquility by the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you have to believe that. You can't listen to what people say about, and you can't take your past problems and let Shaitan convince you can go nuts whenever you want to because you have control because somebody hurt you in the past. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that, and many people do that. Oh, it's crazy time. I need to have an episode. I need to have an episode right now. So I have an episode, because I can get what I want by having an episode. You don't want him to go crazy. Our mother used to tell us, you don't want me to get you. I'll tell you, you don't want me to get you because I'm nuts. Everybody's always playing crazy. Ahlan wa sahlan. Come sit with your brothers. You're right. I reserved a spot for him, but not in front of the camera. So who was that? But my baby. Okay. Its purpose is to achieve the correct understanding that exists in applying the Sharia rulings to events as they occur. This can only be achieved by one who possesses firm principles, beneficial knowledge, and insight that enables him to distinguish truth from falsehood. The greatest corrupter of understanding reality is to approach it without knowledge, or to base the entire approach solely on Emotion. What is that? What is emotion? My feelings. Give me a more an exact definition of what an emotion is supposed to be.
Sad, happy, like a condition.
A set of behaviors and words.
Depression.
Yeah, a set of behavior. But the emotion is more than depressed. There's anxiety as an emotion. There's depression, anxiety. There's as an emotion. There is overwhelming happiness as an emotion. Too happy. Elated as an emotion. There's a lot of emotion. The whole world is going to run the whole world by emotion, not by reality. Not by reality. Even emotional places, they call it your happy place. Remember what they call it? Your happy place. You go where you can be happy. Mainly somebody by himself or herself in the screen. Like so in the screen, that's my happy spot. Not the people around you, but in this world, out of this world and in the box. Like so, you need to think outside the box. They're lying. They don't want people to think outside the box. Think in the box. The box is your world. You can be sitting with your relatives. Everybody's in the home together. You're sitting there. Not this one, because he's somewhere else, in another world, in his box, like cornflakes. He's in the box, just like they are, like a bunch of cornflakes. Once you get everybody inside the box, you now you can tell them what you want them to do. Yes, what they should buy, how they should look, what they should wear. Now you got it under control. It's the strangest thing. People don't want to be under control, but they put themselves in the control by going in the box. I want the box. Give me my phone. People wake up, they can't get their life together until they look in the box. Never thought, why are you being drawn to the box? Does it live? Does it breathe? Does it live? Does it breathe? No. But Ibrahim said to his father, why are you dealing with something that doesn't breathe, it doesn't talk, it can't do nothing for you except do what? Program you and give you what makes you happy. And you can't be totally what in this world? Totally happy. Where's total happiness? Jannah. But, Jannah. Is that real? It's real. It's real. Emotion without knowledge leads to mistakes, just as knowledge without practice cannot produce the intended results. The scholars have warned against separating the understanding of reality from the understanding of revelation. Reality is in revelation. Let's separate those. Reality is something else. That's not what Allah said. Reality is something else. Reality is something else. That's not real. This is real. This is better. In weighing things, this is better.
So you're saying reality is what Allah said?
Absolutely. That's what Allah says. And what his messenger said. And now we know, and we also added to it since we became more aware of the religion, we've added that what the companions have said about what the messenger said, about what Allah said. That's all the same line of reality. What's true? Scholars have warned against separating the understanding of reality from the understanding of revelation. When one is detached from the other, the imbalance occurs. Judgment becomes unstable, understanding becomes weak, and conclusions become corrupt. What are the 3 steps? What happens to people?
Balance.
They're in balance.
Judgment becomes unstable.
Their judgment is unstable,
And understanding
becomes weak, and conclusions become corrupt. Why do we need a structured methodology? Why do we need a structured methodology? The Shaykh's going to answer. He's saying, why do we need minhaj? Here's the word. We say minhaj. He said, why do we need that? Because our scholars didn't play with people. They said what things were, and they said what. They answered the question, why? We are ignorant. We wake up every day with questions, W questions. What, why, who, where, and how much? Every day. We don't know the answers to those things. What is that? Why is that? Who is that? How much is that? Where is that? Showing that we are totally ignorant of even our own lives. We're always asking. But if you get a false answer, Oh, I can tell you how to live forever. Or I can tell you how to be young and strong. Or I can tell you how to cure all your diseases. Or I can tell you how to be happy forever. They're always trying to answer who, what, where, how, why, and how much. So they tell me they got a little boy whose IQ is 1,000%, whatever IQs are, right? And I bring him to me. I said, tell me, who is Allah? Caught. He should be able to tell me with his IQ. He should be able to tell me who created him. Who created him, and why? He should be able to tell me. But all that bragging about being smart and can't answer those questions, not smart. That's the essence of intelligence. To know why you're here. To know why you're here. We all became enlightened by that. We became enlightened by that. When we found out why we were here, because we were being misled by the leaders. You're here to, whatever. But those were all untrue. I see grown men walking around with Captain America shirts on the chest. So, are you Captain America? This is embarrassing. 20-year-olds. Spider-Man. And they love Batman. You know why they love Batman? Batman's rich. He's cool. He got a jet car. He has a big mansion. And he's a playboy by day. And he beats people up by night. Ooh. He would love to take place with Bruce Wayne. Or else he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. The symbolism. Yeah, we wouldn't do that. Superman. Who is supposed to be, who actually is Jesus, actually. Oh no? His father Jur-El, which is Hebrew, says his only begotten son to earth to save the earth. Is that not the storyline? Is that the Christian storyline about who Jesus is? His only begotten son, he sends him out to save those people. He can do everything. Jesus. Oh, they take a lot of their storylines and they place them, they wrap them and then give them back to you. And you say, oh wow, is that what that means? The Terminator, Jesus. As a girl on earth who never had any human being with her intimately, and suddenly out of no place comes this person, and another person comes, and he's looking to destroy the mother of John, the Savior, who's going to save the earth in the future. Who's that story of? So trying to help, don't let John get big, because John's going to save the earth from destruction. Oh, they wrap it a whole lot of different kind of ways. Different kind of way they wrap this story. But we think it's a cartoon. You ever notice all the superheroes are they're all orphans? They got no parents. They're all orphans. Why is that? Superman's an orphan. Spider-Man's an orphan. You're strong when you ain't got no parents. It means not having parents is better than having parents. What does that mean? Makes you super? All of his DNA manipulation, the Hulk, smash, but he messes up in a lab somewhere. He's a lab baby. Spider-Man comes from a bite from a spider. Batman's parents are assassinated in the street. This again, they just run it back, but because of the color and the change and making it dark, I'll give it a different name, but it's all the same narration with different names. People and animals they can merge together and be something super. But you have to keep our minds, our children's minds, in a state of reality. Imam Ahmed said, أصول السنة عندنا التمسك بما كان عليه أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم واقتداء بهم وترك البدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. The foundation of the Sunnah, according to us, are to hold fast to what the companions of the Messenger of Allah were upon, to follow them and to abandon innovations, but every innovation is misguidance. A Muslim must build his thinking upon this great principle. Its adherence to the text, commitment to the way of the early generations, and protection from deviation. Second, a proper methodology enables the Muslim to use the evidence correctly, especially in times of tribulation. What do you mean by tribulation? I mean fitna. Test. Fitna, yeah. When opinions multiply, or when matters become unclear, a sound methodology gathers the proper rules turns ambiguous matters into clear ones and weighs statements with fairness. For this reason, scholars have always advised, regulate your analysis, return issues to their foundations, follow the rules of correct deduction, and be aware of opinions and slogans that lack authentic evidence, methodological rigor, and proper grounding in the sources of Islamic guidance, namely the Quran, the Sunnah, and the understanding of the righteous predecessors. It is through this discipline principle, not emotional impulse or popular rhetoric, not an emotional impulse, mad, sad, hungry, not just that, but sound Islamic thinking is preserved and deviation is prevented. If the methodology contains principles, when sound thinking becomes clearer, the Muslim applies these principles properly and with knowledge. Guidelines. How many things are guidelines you know of? A lot of things, such as normal things have guidelines, such as
Traffic law.
traffic laws. Traffic law. Why? To prevent what? Order. And to prevent unnecessary loss of life. Yeah, they're guidelines. People in the medical field, got any guidelines in the medical field? What they have names, what are their names? I'm sorry. HIPAA. Okay. Are you in the medical field?
No.
Shit. He knows. Is that why you're here? You're here to just blah. Huh? Okay. That's one strike. All right. Among the most important features of the path to correct thinking are: 1, grounding reflection upon Islamic knowledge. Knowledge is the scale and the guiding light. Reflection. To reflect. 2, remaining within the boundaries of the Sharia. One must not place his intellect above the text or exceed what the evidence indicates. He must not do what? Place his intellect above the Quran. He must not do that. Or the Sunnah. 3, considering reality and consequence. Partial or narrow analysis often leads to error, whereas comprehensive analysis that considers outcomes is close to correctness. Consequences. If I say this, what's the consequence? If I do this, what's the consequence? Prisons are full of people who don't consider consequence. I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to consider the consequence of what I do. Isn't that what happened? The decision, the wrong decision. Because, why the decision? Because what? I wanted to? I had the wrong enemy? Why that? People say it was a decision I made. What was the process of the decision? What was the process of the decision? How was the decision made? Well, am I getting nowhere there? It's not in the book, but I'm asking, I'm saying.
Okay. How was the decision made?
How was the decision made? Yeah.
From your desire.
From the emotion, from the desire. The consequences, were they considered?
After. Bit too far out.
After things went south.
Yeah.
But that part's not in the thinking, right? No, the prison's not in the thinking. It's not there, just the action. Yeah. Right now. It's the right now attitude that does it. Upholding justice and fairness. Desire must not lead one to reject truth or accept falsehood. It must not lead someone to reject truth or accept falsehood. The person who is an outlaw, notice the outlaw, that name outlaw got to be a good word. It no longer means criminal, outside the law, but outlaw, it changed the meaning. Outlaws, some bikers are called outlaws, aren't they? Are they considered good guys or what kind of guys? Free guys, right? Do what they want to kind of outlaws. Robin Hood Robin Hood was an outlaw. He was an outlaw. Jesse James was an outlaw. Capone was an outlaw. But they reshaped him to look like a hero, an anti-hero, they call it. Something that a person was forced by circumstance. Usually the government did it to them. So they had to rob and steal. Bonnie and Clyde had to rob and steal because the government did something wrong to them. So they started robbing and stealing. No. That's just, and where's it all shown to us? So we can have a catharsis, a cathartic episode. If they did it, I can do it. For this reason, Scotland said, knowledge is the foundation, action is the fruit, and valiant reflection belongs only to the one who possesses both. Obstacles of sound thinking and signs of deviation. Obstacles of sound thinking. Thinking sound is an obstacle to it. What is that? There are obstacles to being thinking soundly. When a person's understanding of an idea is incomplete, borrowed or built on assumption rather than evidence, it's incomplete, or borrowed from someone else who doesn't know what they're doing either. It was borrowed. Why do we borrow ideas? Why do we take it? Why do we take ideas and images? Why do we take them? We think what about them?
Good.
They're good. And they're good for us. They're supposed to do what for us? They're supposed to make us better. Make us better. So, and if it's not true, then, but to force the issue, we make those idiots wealthy. Why would I accept anything from a man whose head like a beach ball? I'm about Birdman. He's like a beach ball. He's got a big star in his head here. That's a beach ball. What is that? Why would I make him wealthy? Except to convince people it's okay to do that. Why would I make Lil Wayne wealthy? Well, he's got tattoos all over. He's got a book on his face. Why would I accept to make him wealthy? Because making someone wealthy says, wow, if I do that, I'm liable to get wealthy. Look at him, he's wealthy. That's why they're showing him all over the place. To make certain people want to be them. When a person's understanding of an idea is incomplete, borrowed, or built on assumption rather than evidence, their conclusions will be unstable. This is why Allah repeatedly commands knowledge before speech and action, as in his saying, وَلَا تَقْفُوا مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ. Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Youth today face an overload of opinions, online claims, ideological slogans, and partial truths without solid grounding in the Quran and Sunnah and reliable scholarship. Their thoughts drift. And they become vulnerable to confusion. In other words, focusing becomes difficult. Focusing is difficult. So therefore, what do I do? Well, how does my body defend itself against that's not one? What does the body do? It does what? One defense, it does what?
The body.
Yeah, the body.
What does it do?
Has defense mechanism when it doesn't understand, doesn't want to be.
Tense up.
Huh?
Tense up.
Or relax.
Relax.
That's what it does. It defends itself. Now, you don't want that. Out. It's like a button. Just go out. Nap out. Wake up when it's over. Almost time. Did I lose something? No. Emotional thinking overriding the mind. The Messenger of Allah warned against judgments driven by anger or impulsiveness because they cloud perception and weaken the ability to weigh situations accurately. What does anger does? Anger does that. Emotional thinking leads to reacting rather than reasoning. Reacting rather than reason. Accepting ideas because they feel right rather than because they are true. Repeating slogans instead of analyzing principles, saying what everybody else says do what everyone else does to sort of analyze what they want you to do. Is this right? That person has to go into themselves and ask, why do I want that? Why is that good for me? Repeating slogans instead of analyzing principles, making enemies quickly and allies hastily. A sound Muslim mind balances emotion with revelation and wisdom. When revelation and wisdom are no longer applied as governing principle, the following negative consequences emerge. 1. Influence of foreign ideologies and deviant thought. These influences often appeal to identity, emotion, or desire to appear modern or enlightened. But they ultimately detach a person from the stable foundation of Islam. Ibn Taymiyyah said that corruption enters the heart from two doors. Our Imam said it during the khutbah. The two doors: confusion, doubts, shubahat, mushtabah, unchecked desires, shahawat, muttaba. Modern ideological trends often combine both. They combine confusing doubts, and they combine unchecked desire. They both. Modern ideological trends often combine both. 2. Misconception of texts and unmethodical simplification. Youth may encounter religious texts online without context, leading to overgeneralizing rulings. Misapplying verses related to specific events. Treating supplications and narrations as legal proofs. Ignoring the nuanced explanation of classical scholars. Sound thinking requires gathering all evidence, understanding the principles of interpretation, and following the methodology of earlier generations. 3. Satanic intrusion in the thought process. The intrusion of who? Of Shaitan into the thoughts. Among the most neglected factors is the influence of Shaitan, who whispers, beautifies falsehood, amplifies doubts, and pushes the youth toward haste, argumentation, and suspicion. We didn't go into this man's this adolescent psychology. What he said about it, that teenagers or somebody as a child he was normal. As he got older, he grew into some monster. And that one, the adolescent needs independence. He can't hear. He wants to be alone. He wants his space, and refuses any kind of authority. If that was true, we would have seen him where? At the time of the companions, we would have seen it then. The Prophet would have said, "Look, when the child gets his age, he's going to turn into a teenager. He's going to want his own space. He won't hear authority. He's going to be detached." We would have seen this. We didn't see them. That means they're not true. They're not true. So at some point, I want to doubts about action. I want to stop at a certain point and leave it to the night. Pick up the rest of the night. Is that all right with you all?
No.
Yeah, good. We want to get out of here anyway. Shame on you. So you want to mark it? We stopped at excessive questioning.
Is the second question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
On the
As long as it don't come from you.
Jazakallah khair. Under the topic of emotional thing over at the mind, do you have any suggestions as what can be practical that we can put into practice to put the thinking before the emotion? Because you know sometimes
Before the emotion comes?
yeah, you deal with your kids, you may, or even people, spouse, or whoever, you may become emotional before you start thinking about this.
That's true. That is true.
It happens a lot. So how is there something practical that you can do to, when you're dealing with anybody, just to put the Quran still that in practice first, the thinking first, and then let the emotion come later and apply it properly.
Verse 199 of Surah Al-A'raf. Remember, I said this covers. It has a broad spectrum of things you can do. How to understand getting along with others. المعاملة التعامل. This says خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وعلي عن الجاهلين. خذ العفو, it could be explained, the translation says show forgiveness. You're ready to pardon. You're ready to pardon. Your first move is to pardon that one. He said, Shaykh al-Amin said, keep it right in your consciousness. He said, right there between your eyes. Keep it there. خذ العفو. Traffic is backed up. It causes what? It causes frustration. People get ready to throw signals, sign language, right? They're stomping. They're talking to somebody. They can't even hear. They're talking to the driver. He can't even hear you. You saying then, what are you talking to him? He can't hear you. Yeah, look what are you doing? Look at this fool, man. وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, and command the goodness. Command what's right, because what's right is the actual structure. Whether we pardon or don't pardon, the command to do right and forbid wrong is still the structure of the religion. The Messenger of Allah, he said, if Fatima had stolen, I would have cut her hand. I mean, it's even across the board. It doesn't matter who it is. But first, you're going to pardon it. Calm down. We don't have any, we do have them. The translation and maybe some of the tafsir would be good. And for your study, understand, for your study, you need to be able to read, understand, memorize, and apply. And reflect. It must be used as your reflection. Like a book reflects. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. And it says here, show forgiveness, enjoy what is good, and turn away from the foolish, and do not punish them. Don't waste your time trying to straighten it out towards the ignorant. That's tafsir? Have tafsir?
This is no, that's not tafsir. This is, but I think it has something
about
trying to find it.
No, hold on.
What surah?
Al-A'raf, surah number 7. So that's one of the keys to being able to get along with people properly according to religion. Is one of the keys to peace. Understanding how to get along with children, parents, wives, employees, employers, how to get along with authorities. They try to give us the vision of the policeman stops you right away. You and the policeman are enemies. Enemies of what? What you want? I want to see your license and your okay. Why? Just give it to him. Just give it to him. Just give it to him. You know, he has the authority. Appreciate, London. Oh, you got your glasses. Oh no. No? Okay. Well, I'll try. تشكيل فيه تشكيل مشكل؟
لا.
Okay. جزاك الله خير. This part. Mm-hmm. And it's under the broad type حسن الخلق, good behavior. هذا هو مادة الأخلاق الجميلة كلها. The Shaykh said this is the subject of akhlaq, of behavior. All of it is beautiful. وقد اتفق الشرع والعقل على حسنه. Shaykh said, and the Sharia and the intellect both agree to this goodness of it. وَرَفَعَتُ قُدْرِهِ, and it's the high position of its qudra, of its قدره, its measure. وَعَلُوا مَرْتَبَتِهِ, in high position. وَمَدَاؤُهُ عَلَى قَوْلِ تَعَالَى, He said all of it is based upon Allah's statement in this verse, خُذْ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَاعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Allah. أي خُذْ ما تيسر وعفى وتسهل من الأخلاق. He said, from the people's behavior, take what's easy for them to do. It's easy for them to give you and for them to do. Don't force it on more than they can do. Take that from them. Sometimes we want to force the issue, and we do it with the kids all the time. Child can't do so, we push. You can't do that. Just go easy with child. Take it easy. عفا أي خذ ما تيسر وعفا وتسهل لأخلاق الناس ولا تطالبهم بما لا تقتضيه تبعه. And do not don't expect from them more than what's required from their nature. More than required from their nature. Don't try to get more than what's required. ولا تمسح به أخلاقهم. And then the character doesn't تمسح. It's not wide enough, or excuse that doesn't. هذا فيما يأتيك منهم. Okay. The second part's here too. But I want to just get to the first part. The first part, because that's what's hard. Our nature is we've been taught to blow up. There's some power in yelling. There's none. That our power is our ability to muscle the situation. Or Mother Papa never did that. He never did that. When you say you believe in the Sunnah, that is a statement which needs a person to really understand what they're talking about, who they're talking about. The greatest man who ever lived. The greatest man who ever lived. Whoever sits on earth. Whoever grabbed the breast to breastfeed. The greatest man who ever did that. That man, alayhi salam. There's nobody greater than him. No one. And they keep trying to bring us these heroes, this one, that one, but there was nobody greater than him. Alayhi salam. And to believe that, you get tested. You say you believe in him, that gets tested. It gets tested. So when you say, well, so when your child spills something on you, you didn't expect it. First reaction may be, what are you doing? With the face and the voice and the, when in fact, if you drop a pen, what's problems for you if you drop something? If I drop this, what happens? What are my problems? If I'm stuck by a thorn, what the Prophet said about that? What happens? Forgive.
Mercy.
Yeah. Even if you get stuck by a thorn of a rose, a thorn, even a thorn sticks you. Something falls from you. Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, boom. You might say, "Oh," you might say some things. But that's not what's called for. What's called for is be patient with it. You didn't know what was happening. It was an accident.
We also can use this ayah for dealing with each other, our brothers or our sisters. Sometimes we defensive. Sometimes some people go and talk about defensive. That's an emotional thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let me see if I can. Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, there was a man spreading falsehood about the Quran. He was using the verses that are hard to understand to confuse people. And when he met him, what did he do? He saw him, took a small stick, and he beat him in the head with it. Wham! He said, I mean, it ain't there no more. It's not there. It's gone. Pow! It's gone. It ain't there no more. He said, there's something in my head, but it's not there anymore. That was smashed with a stick. And then he sent him away and warned everyone he went to about his habit of misrepresenting. He wasn't set free like it's okay. When people go across the Sharia, we're talking about clear evidence. When Sharia is clear, That person don't get a break like that. He don't get to go over it and say across it and test it. No, he doesn't get that. But you're finished. Here's the proof. This is what we stand on, and we got no more to say about it. Period. No more. Because there you folks who know about the Sharia, and they're trying. So I know what it says, but I got, carte blanche? I'm an exception. So this exception doll won't work with us. I'm an exception because of who my father was, what my color is, who is that? No exception. You're going to get the rejection that everybody else gets, and no less than that. And be sure about it because you have the evidence. The evidence makes you sure. You don't have to talk. So here's the evidence, Akhi. I want a man say this is what it means. We have no more to say about it. That's our last statement. It's over. Okay? Then you'll see what people really want, what they really want. So this is the evidence. So who are you? And be together on that. We're together on the evidence. Shaykh, what that means is the beauty of our unity. We're unified on the fact that we go by evidence. That's our unity. We're all unified on the evidence. We don't have somebody leaking out. So, they said that, but it's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. The evidence. But make sure you have the evidence. And make sure who you took it from is someone sound who will explain it to us. We know their names. Shaykh al-Baz, Shaykh al-Amin, from modern era. Shaykh al-Albani, from this era. The Mufti, Shaykh Salih al-Shaykh. His father, Abdul al-Shaykh. Shaykh Fawzan, who's the current Mufti. So why Saudi Arabia? Because Saudi Arabia is holding this Tawheed down better than anybody else in the world. That's why. I don't care what you see, what you thought you saw. No place is perfect. And we can't say they're not giving advice. You see everybody going to Hajj? You see them still going to Hajj? You see they made Hajj easier for people? They have a train make things easier for the Hujjaj? Could you do that? No. You ever ran a country? No. You ever been responsible for all the Muslims across the earth to make one act of worship the most active upon active worship in the whole world? You ever been in charge of that? No. You can't get your kids across the street for school and you run in your mouth. No. Quiet over there. Quiet over there. You don't know what you're talking about. That place is dirty. So is your house. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You can punch them. Get emotional. No, I wasn't even mad. But don't poke the bear. I wasn't going to say something. I wasn't going to say something. So you got me all up on. Well, you hear people say really crazy stuff, but they don't understand the Sharia. They don't understand where it makes it easy for people. They don't understand it. We were in a hospital one time, and they had a chapel upstairs in the hospital. Everybody went to praise in there. The Muslims prayed there, the Christians prayed there, but there was no designs on any religion on the windows or nothing like that. I wouldn't go and pray in that there, but there's nothing there. And the Qibla's marked. You can pray in there. What's the proof? Khattab prayed in Jerusalem, I believe. He went in and prayed and said, if there's no markings, no crucifix hanging, no designs, you can pray in there. It's a functional room you can pray in there. But just some folks are really tight on what they don't talk about, and they lose some other things. They lose. So, is that fine for you, sir? Jazakallah khair. May I be excused? Yeah. And since you're not serving dinner till tonight, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وجزاكم الله. Thank God. Thank you, man.
I forgot we had the tafsir over there.
I
forgot.
That's okay. That's okay. Good. I'll do it. Ooh.
Shaykh.